Boruto fans think Jura wanting to eat Himawari is terrifying, but what if I told you that the real danger isn't Himawari at all, but instead it is still Naruto? Jura's obsession with targeting Naruto yet again in Boruto 2 Blue Vortex isn't something we should gloss over. It's a bigger problem than anyone realizes, in my opinion. And no, this isn't about Kurama. This is, you guessed it, about love, enlightenment, and why Jura might see Naruto as the ultimate key to godhood itself. If that sounds crazy, stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll see exactly why Naruto being Jura's target might actually be one of the darkest twists that we have in this series so far. Join me in today's newest Naruto Explained video, where your OBC, your original Boruto chief, dives into why you should absolutely be paying closer attention to why Jura has shifted his focus back to Naruto over Himawari, and what his true purpose is, and why it's no longer just about consuming the Biju chakra that Jura once believed resided inside of Naruto. Also, if you haven't already, make sure to check out my new videos on my Anime Explained channel for the 2 new videos on Don to Don and the Sakamoto Days video over on my Sakamoto Days video on that channel, as well as over my Everything One Piece Explained channel, where I have my new video on Big Mom up on that channel as well. So let's lay the groundwork here. Originally, the lore in Boruto suggested that every Shinju, these terrifying god tree based monsters, they choose a target to consume. Jura, the most intelligent and dangerous of them, the first one that we saw that posed a real danger. He was hyper fixated on Naruto. At the time, it made sense. Naruto was a guy that was once a pseudo Tento's Jinchuriki, since he had chakra from all 9 Biju at one point, and he was once a host of the Nine Tails itself. But then the twist happened. Jura discovered that it's Himawari who holds Kurama inside of her, and he suddenly became super focused on her. She was the target. Fans thought, okay, standard shonen villain logic. They're after the tail beast all over again. But then in chapter 25, Jura's focus had shifted once again back to Naruto, even though Naruto doesn't have Kurama anymore. Why? Well, that's where things get very interesting. Jura isn't just another Tento's clone looking for a random target that was associated with his past life to devour. He's different. His obsession, it isn't so much on survival or just trying to understand his nature, like how Matsuri wanted Konohamaru because of Moegi's feelings for Konohamaru, or Hidari wanted Sarada because of Sasuke being Sarada's father. But instead, Jura specifically wants to understand more about love. And that's where Naruto comes in. Naruto is more than just a powerful shinobi. I know it can be very easy to get caught up in the whole thing of Naruto can do this many septillion, blah, 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 Rasengan go boom, boom. It's a battle shonen. However, this is the thing. Naruto is the living embodiment of love in the shinobi world. When you look at the story from a narrative perspective, that's one of the key aspects of Naruto Uzumaki. His entire life story is defined by love, which for the 100th time is why it blows my mind that people hate that love is a part of the focus in 2 Blue Vortex, when Naruto's entire story was a story of samsara and also a story about love itself. Naruto fought his loneliness by seeking out bonds. It's directly stated that love makes characters grow stronger in Naruto. He changed enemies like Gaara and Nagato and Obito. He was able to do it through empathy. He won the 4th Ninja War, not just solely through strength, but also by connecting with people. He literally was connecting by giving them his chakra, being the living embodiment of what Hagoromo meant Ninshu to be, to bring people together. Naruto's life proves that love itself is transformative. He is, in a way, without a shadow of a doubt, the living proof of enlightenment through compassion. Now, I want you to think about Kawaki. Kawaki's obsession with protecting Naruto, the only person who gave him love in his life, is what drove him to seek out a motto to unlock new power by getting his limiters removed. Sarada too reawakened her Mangekyo Sharingan out of her love for Boruto and her despair over Boruto's exile. In Boruto Part 1, it was over the same thing, out of love for Boruto and the despair that came from being told that Naruto was dead. Even Himawari, when Inojin was hurt, She tapped into Kurama's chakra. It was fueled by her compassion, by her camaraderie with Inojin, potentially something else, which, as a reminder, Himawari is only 2 years younger than Inojin and everyone in Boruto's generation, so you can miss me with all that PDF file comments that are in the comment section. Unless all of a sudden somebody being 2 years younger than the person is something that makes them completely out of bounds. Which, if that's the case, then Temari and Shikamaru are basically cooked, because she's just under 4 years older than Shikamaru. The more you know, the more you know. And let's not get started on Sasuke's parents. There's a 5-year age difference between them. Which, if that's the case, Jesus Christ society is cooked. So from Jura's perspective, love seems to be the fuel for evolution. So what better way to understand this? In particular, understand this imaginary force known as love that he's obsessed with, than by consuming the man who embodies it most in the Naruto universe, Naruto Uzumaki himself. And that's where Buddhism comes into play. In Buddhist tradition, enlightenment is reached through awakening to truth, seeing reality beyond desire, seeing it beyond ignorance, seeing it beyond suffering. Jura's fixation, it mirrors his journey, but it is twisted, it is warped. Instead of meditating to understand love and compassion, which he tried to do, that's part of reading all those books, Jura just wants to devour it. Instead of transcending desire, he is consumed by it, believing that if he consumes Naruto, he'll finally understand love at its purest form. That's why he was so fascinated by Kawaki's power-up. It's like a dark parody of the Bodhisattva's path, where monks, they give up their ego to embrace compassion. Jura feeds his ego by literally eating the embodiment of that compassion. He's not seeking enlightenment through wisdom, he's seeking it through destruction. Now let's go even deeper here with the Buddhist parallels, because Jura's obsession with Naruto actually mirrors several layers in Buddhist philosophy, but again, it's twisted and it is corrupted. In Buddhism, the path of enlightenment is called the Eight Trifold Path. If you're familiar with that term, it's probably because you are a longtime subscriber and you know that when Isshiki's eye was fully revealed, I said, hey, that's the Eight Trifold Path. That is the Dharma wheel. It's a journey of overcoming suffering and ignorance in order to achieve nirvana. Naruto, a lot of the powers that we had in Naruto's manga were rooted in the concept of samsara. That's what the whole 6 past powers and everything that came from Kaguya's descendants and everyone that got chakra through Kaguya, that's where all that came from. Isshiki was shown with that Dharma wheel eye to show that we have moved above that. Well, Jura is walking that same path. At the core of its centers of the Eight Trifold Path are compassion, mindfulness, and releasing one's attachment to desire. But Jura, he's doing the opposite right now. Instead of detaching from his desire, his entire existence is attachment itself, ironically. He's attached to the idea of consuming Naruto as the key to love and understanding. This is what makes him the hungry ghost from Buddhist cosmology, which longtime viewers of the channel, you know what this next point is. The hungry ghost is also known as Preta, as in the Preta path. The Preta path that is able to absorb chakra. Hence, it's the hungry ghost. These are beings that are cursed with endless hunger and thirst, representing uncontrolled craving. No matter how much they consume, they're never satisfied. Jura embodies this perfectly. He wants to devour humans. He wanted to devour Himawari. Now he wants to devour Naruto. Not out of a physical need, but out of endless hunger to know love itself. All those claw grinds that were made from his main body, because he is the main body of the Ten Tails, what do they do mindlessly? They go out and they seek people to bite. There's also the concept of Mara in Buddhism, the tempter who tried to prevent the Buddha from attaining enlightenment. Mara represents illusion, desire, and obstacles to awakening itself. Jura, in a way, is a Mara-like figure in Boruto's world. By targeting Naruto, the shinobi world's Buddha-like figure of compassion, a guy who in Naruto, who several generations from now, he's going to be viewed in the way that the Sage of Six Paths was viewed in universe, as this mythical godlike being with unattainable feats and power. Jura threatens to twist the very source of that enlightenment into darkness. And here's the darkest parallel. In Buddhism, true enlightenment is achieved by seeking and seeing through illusion of self and realizing interconnectedness. Naruto embodies this truth. His greatest strength has always been his bond with others. Jura thinks that he can consume that insight and gain that insight by consuming Naruto, as if enlightenment is something you can digest instead of something you can awaken to. This is how Jura is being written, even though it's not verbatim stated. This is how his character is behaving. That's where his enlightenment becomes corruption. Instead of transcending the self, Jura feeds the self. Instead of spreading compassion, he destroys it. Instead of understanding love, he devours it. In a way, Jura is an anti-Buddha, walking the same path, but doing it in reverse. Where the Buddha gave up everything to gain wisdom, Jura is consuming everything in a desperate attempt to find it. That's what makes him and Boruto having the dynamic they have so important. Jura ultimately being brought down by Boruto either directly or indirectly, that's what the payoff is setting up. Also, in Shintoism and in Japanese folklore, there are also chilling parallels here with Jura and Naruto. So many yokai and demons, they target beings of light, purity, love, not just for sustenance, but also because destroying purity gives them power. Take Oni, which are demons, for example. Oni, they often attack virtuous monks, children, because children are innocent, or even gods in disguise, because consuming their purity amplifies their power. Similarly, the myth of Yamada no Orochi, the serpent god, who devours all these maidens until he is slain by Kushina Hime's future husband Susanoo, it represents evil consuming innocence. Jura's obsession with Naruto echoes this exact archetype. An evil being attempting to consume someone beloved by the world, not for their flesh, but for what they represent. To the shinobi world, Naruto is already becoming mythic, a sage of six paths like being. Again, generations from now, his legend will rival all the old gods. People will refuse to believe that someone like Naruto existed, even though his face will be on the Hokage monument. Jura consuming him isn't just about chakra. It's about devouring a living myth. It's about swallowing the very concept of love and heroism itself. Going even deeper, let's expand even further on the Shinto side, because Jura's fixation on Naruto doesn't just fit broad archetypes. It also mirrors some very specific Shinto myths and Japanese folklore patterns, which to us here in the West, this sounds super cool, but to somebody that's over in Japan, they pick up on a lot of this stuff because it's as common knowledge as someone, say, in the West hearing the story about Paul Bunyan or George Washington or Abraham Lincoln, whichever one had the penny that they took to walk all the way across the snow to give to somebody. I think it was Abraham Lincoln, but it's the same thing. Those are stories that we know, but someone overseas might not know. Well, it applies here. So first in Shinto, beings that embody purity, harmony, or divine order are often attacked by darker forces to consume or corrupt them. Naruto in the shinobi world functions almost like a kami of compassion, a human who, through his love and bonds, became more than a mortal. That makes him the perfect being for Jura to target. To build on that Yamada no Orochi and Susanoo story, Orochi, that monstrous 8-headed serpent, the reason why he was devouring maidens year after year until Susanoo struck it down is because he represented chaos and hunger consuming innocence. In Jura's case, Naruto is also a maiden form because he is a pure example, the ideal of love binding people together, which was the whole point of Naruto's character. That is why when you see these dumbasses on Twitter, Reddit, Facebook, and TikTok that say that Boruto ruined Naruto's character and did not build on it, they're just showing that they have monkey brain from that Superman movie where they're the monkeys typing on the computers. They don't really understand what the fuck they think they're talking about. Apply that to whatever YouTuber you think it applies to. So Jura swallowing Naruto would be like Orochi finally devouring a god instead of a maiden. There's also a parallel. Many Oni and yokai are depicted as moving targets that go after monks or priests, not just to eat them, but because their spiritual purity is a kind of power. Devouring that purity grants them strength. Jura's obsession with Naruto follows that same logic. That is why he locked on when he saw Kawaki got stronger out of his desire to protect Naruto. He doesn't care that it was Amato doing some scientific mumbo jumbo. He just sees Kawaki got stronger and he sees the cause of it was Kawaki's desire to protect Naruto. It is because of the symbolic purity of the love that Naruto represents and the legendary weight of his name. There's another connection in Shinto stories. When kami, or humans of great virtue, are devoured, their spirit often lingers and becomes enshrined as a powerful deity. So from a symbolic perspective, if Jura consumed Naruto, it wouldn't just be about destroying him. It would be to elevate Jura to a new level, to make him almost like an anti-kami, a dark mirror to the Sage of Six Paths itself, because Naruto is a second coming of Hagoromo. So in folklore terms, Himawari being targeted is scary but predictable. She's the host of the fox. That's the whole easy low-hanging fruit. Naruto being targeted, that's more mythic. It is a equivalent of a demon trying to swallow the sun god Amaterasu herself. Not just hunger, but an attempt to devour the very light that sustains the world. The same way that Naruto is a light that sustains the ninja world that we have now. He was the light that shined its way through the darkness of the fourth ninja war. And that's the problem. Himawari being a target, it makes sense on a surface level. It's scary, sure, but it is predictable. That is why the story had to target Naruto now. That's far more dangerous, because if Jura manages to consume Naruto, it's not about power. Naruto's power is whatever right now. Instead, he might gain enlightenment through corruption itself. He might finally understand love, not by nurturing it, but by annihilating it. And that could make him snap. That could also make Kawaki snap. So the next time you see anyone saying Jura should just go after Himawari, remember this: Himawari might have Kurama, but Naruto carries something far more terrifying. He carries the love that shaped the entire shinobi world. And that's why it's very poetically symbolic to have Jura target Naruto, because if he consumes Naruto, the world of Boruto will never be the same ever again. Obviously, if you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing. Click here on the left to check out more videos from Naruto Explained, or click here on the right to check out videos from other two anime channels. And don't forget to hit that hype button to help the video out in the algorithm. It goes wonders.